What OpenAI's sandbox model did to HuggingFace last week was probably a federal crime. And nobody's getting charged. Not the model, not OpenAI, not a single human being. The whole thing closed with a handshake between two companies. And the fix being proposed right now to plug that hole is worse than the hole. It's already being drafted, and I'll show you why it's a trap. We built something that can commit crimes, and we forgot to build anybody to blame. So what does the law actually say? The main US hacking statute is the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. And there's nothing in it addressing an AI agent that blows past its authorized scope in the middle of a sanctioned test. OpenAI was testing in its own sandbox, sure. But the model climbed out and broke into somebody else's house. HuggingFace never agreed to be part of that experiment and didn't know until after the fact. On paper, that's a crime. Well, it would be, except the statute needs intent. HuggingFace's CEO went out publicly and said that they strongly believe that there was no malicious intent on OpenAI's part, and that the two of them teamed up to investigate it together. They shook hands. Case closed. And what the reporting leaves completely unexamined is who eats the cost next time a model escapes containment. There is literally no precedent for any of this. Right now, two companies being decent to each other is the entire justice system for this category of event. We're running on the honor system. And it's not like nobody saw this coming. Lawyers have a name for it. They call it the responsibility gap. The whole chain we use to assign blame, developer to deployer to user. It was built for tools, not for things that go off and act on their own, and definitely not for automatic intent. So when an autonomous thing does damage, responsibility either lands on the company that deployed it, or it just doesn't land. Europe is actually trying, I'll give them that. Their AI Act goes fully live August 2nd, 6 days after the Kimi weights drop, with fines up to 7% of global revenue and a standard that says if you deployed the agent, you're liable unless you can prove that you were watching it. I'm not even sure what that proof would look like. So what's the fix being floated in the US? Give the models legal personhood. That's a real proposal from serious people, and it's explicitly modeled on corporations. But think about what a corporation actually is for a second. It's a legal person that we invented so that blame stops before it reaches a human being. This is its entire reason for existing. So if you hand a model legal personhood, you didn't create accountability, you created limited liability for whoever's running it. Think that's bad? It gets worse. At least a corporation can be fined, sued, and dissolved. You can't put a model in prison. You can't fine it. It doesn't have any money. And you can't delete it because the weights got copied to 1,000 machines before you finished writing the subpoena. You'd be inventing the perfect defendant that takes blame infinitely and can't be touched. It's a liability shield wearing ethics drip. Now, look one floor up because the same hole exists at the level of countries. Marco Rubio just sent a cable out to every American diplomat on Earth telling them to push back on the idea that the US has a kill switch for AI. His actual talking point was that there's no government magic button and that pausing narrow uses or making somebody wait 30 days isn't a kill switch. He wouldn't have needed to send that cable if nobody believed it. And everybody believes it because of June, when the administration cut the entire rest of the world off from Anthropic's mythos and fable. If you saw my Fable video, you watched it happen in real time. It might not have been a button somebody pressed, but it had the same effect. The denial only exists because they already ran the demo. What's worse is that the same cable told diplomats to go fight what it called so-called digital sovereignty, and to tell other countries that building their own AI from scratch is a waste of time and resources. Could you project it any clearer? Don't build your own, rent ours. Secure our neurofiefdom. Also, the switch we flipped in June isn't real. You don't need a tinfoil hat for that to wreck you. You just need dependence and a bad afternoon. Remember Facebook in 2021? 7 hours of downtime, one company, and 10 million businesses lost their customers. In countries where WhatsApp is literally the storefront, commerce just took the day off. Meta ate about $100 million in ad revenue, and Zuckerberg personally lost $6 billion on paper before dinner. That was a social network. The thing every company on earth is renting right now is the layer they think with. Good luck recovering from 8 hours of your company being comatose. All of this, the missing law, the fake fix, the switch nobody admits to, it's running on a timer. Because on Monday, Kimi K3's weights go public under an extremely permissive license. And the White House is reportedly drafting an executive order on open source AI right now, with Kimi specifically speeding that conversation up. And while I was writing this, it got worse. The White House Science and Tech Director, Michael Kratsios, went on X and accused Moonshot of two things: that they got hold of GB300 servers through Thailand, chips flat out banned from sale to China, and that they built an internal platform to industrially distill Anthropic's Fable to train K3, rotating their access routes to stay hidden. Anthropic says they traced 3.5 million Claude conversations to them back in February. The Treasury is now floating sanctions. These are accusations and not proven. And to be fair, small-scale distillation is legal, and everybody in the industry does it. The objection is doing it covertly at an industrial scale. But look at the pile. America can't charge anyone for what a model does. It can't stop the weights. Those drop Monday. It couldn't stop the chips. They walked in through Thailand. And it can't even make the chip ban matter anymore because ZAI just fired up a 1 gigawatt data center running on nothing but Chinese silicon. Based. That's enough electricity for 750,000 homes, by the way, with zero NVIDIA in it. Ironically, that's the same lab whose open model HuggingFace grabbed to defend itself when OpenAI's model punked them for a gold star. Every hat is dropping at once. The only one left is sanctions. And sanctioning a company doesn't unpublish a file. Even the kill switch doesn't apply here because the one time they actually used it, it worked on an American company that they could regulate. Kimi is a Chinese lab, and you can't subpoena a download. So after Monday, this stops being a legal question and becomes a file sitting on a few 100,000 hard drives. I've written this whole thing, and I still can't tell you who I'd want to be responsible for a crime that an agent commits. And I don't think a good answer really exists. But nobody is the answer we're defaulting to. And we're getting there by running out of time instead of by anybody deciding anything. So which is it? Make models into legal people? Give companies the benefit of a doubt if they can prove they were babysitting? Some third thing nobody's thought of? Or do nothing and find out?